Hey everyone, Draftful Dodger is here, and it's the second episode of my self-produced podcast about the life of Ukrainian immigrant comic in Canada. The world is having an identity crisis right now, in my opinion, everyone is trying to figure out who they are. Like, do they have any roots? Are they Ukrainians? Are they Russians? Are they Africans? Are they Canadians? Are they men, women, gays, lesbians? And that's not me, because I'm 100% sure that I'm a fucking douchebag. Simply for the reason that every single Ukrainian, Canadian, man, woman, gay, lesbian, queer, and transgender person tells me so. And I realized that while I was participating in the vocal show The Voice of Ukraine. I didn't say anything bad about anyone. I didn't do anything wrong. I just knocked the audience favorite out of the competition. And that's when people explained it to me, that I didn't meet their expectations and that my actions were douchey. And the second time was kind of recently, when people also explained to me that I'm a douchebag, because it happened just right after the first episode of this podcast. It turns out, even when I'm just talking into a mic in my room, I still manage to trigger the same reaction. I think it's like a superpower, I don't even have to try, and people already have their pitchforks ready just to stab me. And there is one big problem with identifying as a douchebag, I think. Because being a douchebag for me, it's probably a spectrum, Like, who decides who gets to be what kind of douchebag? I don't know. But, for example, I want to be an honest douchebag. That kind of guy who is considered a piece of shit simply because he doesn't conform and tells the truth to your face. But here's the catch. We are all douchebags in someone's story. For our exes, for colleagues, for neighbors, even for our pets. And to me, it seems like it's the only form of equality that works flawlessly in today's world. We are all united by the fact that in someone's narrative, we are the villains. And the only problem is that nobody wants to be the villain, Like, everyone wants to be a superhero. Everyone wants to fight evil. But if there were no evil, there would be no good. A superhero without a villain is just a weird guy in tights who has nothing to do in this city. Just runs around the blocks and, I'm Batman, or I'm a Superman. I know one personally. And they say, people say that even bad things makes us better, like catastrophes. Catastrophes are making us better. But that line of reasoning, in my opinion, is dangerous. Why? Because a catastrophe, like an earthquake, is an element, You can't hold it accountable. But we can hold the society accountable. The one that, through corruption and theft, builds houses where thousands die when the earth begins to shake. It is how it is. And we can't blame the weapon for the murder. We made it ourselves to protect ourselves from the bad guys. But at the first opportunity, we pointed at the good ones, who became bad, simply in our opinion, Just because they didn't fit into our code. But unfortunately, when the earthquake hits, only the douchebags don't pretend that everything is fine. Or war, for example. So yeah, we figured out that I'm a douchebag already, and I still try to remind you that I'm identifying myself as a stand-up comic either. So I've been at the local mic recently, and the host, who I know for a while, he didn't recognize me because I completely changed my image, and he told me that he just didn't do that he couldn't get it because like I was looking like a chameleon, and he was trying to riff like, oh, you're Ukrainian, probably you're looking in the vocabulary or you're googling what chameleon is. But I didn't Google it. I just took a note for the record and left the venue after the fourth comedian act. Yeah, you know. And yeah, just as chameleon, I would like to remind you the Dwight Schrute's quote: "Identity theft is not a joke." And also, I want to add a little bit of my thought. And a joke theft is not an identity. So technically, today this podcast is a kind of an open mic where I'm throwing my observations and jokes about my life. Except there is no one else in here for now, waiting for the list or for the bucket. So let's roll. Today, I want to talk about the art of comedy in general and the joke theft policy of Toronto. And of course, a little bit of self-deprecation in here, because I'm trying to deconstruct those things to probably understand what's wrong with me and my understanding of comedy. And if you've missed the first episode where I'm trying to get how Canadian politeness works and how much the outsider I am, go listen to the first episode of this show on YouTube or Spotify. So, just in case you've never been to Toronto, the comedy scene here is huge. And I wouldn't lie to you if I tell the truth. It has legendary places that became a kind of cult for all the comedians in here. I mean, the Second City, Yak Yak's, Corner, Backroom, and Absolute Comedy Clubs. And some of those venues have their dark side. To be more specific, it's $5 sets dark side, you know? And why $5 sets? Because it's actually the price of the ticket people paid for the comedy show. And it's the actual price of sets in which pro comics are going to roast the amateurs and the audience. And here's the hackiest thing ever if you're a pro comedian and you don't want to spoil your material or try new stuff. Start your set with the previous act's mocking. It's a great opportunity to strengthen your high status and just rise up in the audience eyes. Just roast the anxious amateur act before you, and the crowd gonna love you. That's a tip. It's free. And if you're the amateur comic, do the same stuff to raise yourself in the eyes of the pro. Here we go. Here's how it works. The second tip is simple as hell. If your material doesn't land anyhow, blame the price of the ticket and the intelligence of the crowd. Don't forget, you're the artist, and you have to remind it to those peasants who are underestimating your sense of humor. Amateur comics, write it down. Same thing that you have to do if you want to be successful. Also, there is no need to write your own thoughts. Use the internet. There are so many funny people, jokes, and memes there, so you can take it and adapt it to your set. You know, here are the simple examples. I've come to Toronto and squirrels in here are wild. Did you know that they literally die after sex? I don't know how the others, but those that I fucked died right after. Or, I'm into watching Animal Planet now, and I've seen that documentary about the turtles. Did you know that they literally die after sex? I don't know how the others, but those that I fucked died right after. You would probably say that those jokes are almost identical, but I will say that they are creatively adapted for different comic personalities. One performs at Yak Yak's, another one at Backroom Comedy Club. Someone loves squirrels, another one loves turtles, obviously. But there is another obvious thing. They both love to fuck. Remember, stand-up is just about the tightness and laughs during your set. No one in the clubs wants to hear silence from you and your genuine thoughts and observations. If you're bombing, tell something edgy that will bring you back. Like, for example, we have a girl from Tokyo in here. Ni hao. I know it's in Chinese. I just don't give a fuck. Yeah, that works because you're literally taking the risk and showing how cool are you and how are you dealing with that. But if that's not enough, you should use the right trap. Like, tell the audience how gay you are. And let me remark the thing. It's not about being gay in real life. It's about how much you are into sucking dicks on the stage and how confident you are. And don't forget about every single joke about homophobia, sexism, racism, and whatnot. That's how it works. But to be honest, sometimes I'll look at those acts and think, I wish I could be less serious and philosophical in my sets. I wish I could go up there on the stage and tell some jokes about my kids or my family, but I don't have any of them. I have no kids, no family, and I barely have any jokes. Or I wish I could tell how much I'm dating on Tinder or Hinge, but unfortunately, my face is an absolute red flag. And it's so red that when my photo pops up on girl's Tinder feed, her iPhone automatically plays the Soviet Union anthem. I'm just scaring the shit out of her. And the only way to deal with the communist is to swipe him left to his place. She's just sorting her waste in the right way. And the funniest thing that today Canadians are celebrating April Fool's Day. And in Ukraine, it's Humor Day. I've lost one of my shifts like a week ago, which means I'm deeply in the ass right now, and I'm sending the tons of resumes trying to make the corporate god to hear me and notice me in this big city. And the irony is that I've just finished reading Tom Stoppard's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's Are Dead. And I don't feel like I'm a main character of my life. I'm just the guy from the Life's Extras. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna be paid for that. I'm the dude you literally can see in the crowd and feel much better because your life is not so fucked up as mine. And I don't have any power to move on, but somehow I will. I just can't figure out how to put that screw into this fake IKEA coffee table, even following the manual step by step, you know? I have no backup opportunity at all. I can't move back to my parents' house or whatever. I have no understanding why am I in here, but I promise I'll try to figure it out one day. I'm just a man who's gradually losing everything, like dreams, hopes, job, money, but I haven't lost my mind yet. Even though it may seem so, you know. I just know that I won't give a fuck about my reputation in comedy circles. So I'll speak from the bottom in which I'm lying right now. So instead of celebrating Humor Day, I'm turning more and more into Canadian April celebration mascot. So, yeah, people say fortune favors fools. Well, I'm a fool that fortune clearly isn't spoiling. Does that mean I'm smart? I hope not. I'd rather stay a fool, yeah, probably. An honest douchebag in a world of fake heroes. Yeah. Happy April's Fool Day. It was the Draftful Dodger. See you when I'm looking at you. I'm a loser, baby. So